With the topic that was asked most by viewers. A majority of questions we received revolved around this topic, its Medicaid expansion. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2022, Mississippi had one of the highest percentages of people without health insurance coverage in the country. Governor, 40 states have expanded their Medicaid programs. Mississippi has not. Where do you stand on the expansion of Medicaid in Mississippi?
Well, thank you, Troy and Megan, and thanks to WAPT for hosting this debate. And most of all, thanks to the people of the great state of Mississippi for the privilege and the trust that you have placed in me to serve as Mississippi's 65th governor. It has been the honor of my professional life. Medicaid expansion is a topic that has been discussed often in the state. In fact, it's probably the topic that my team and I have worked on more than anything else. And at the end of the day, what we have determined is it does not make sense for the people of Mississippi. It does not make sense for the people of Mississippi because if you were to add 300,000 people to the Medicaid rolls, about 100,000 of those individuals would actually be currently on private insurance. That's private insurance. That's taking 100,000 people that are currently on private insurance and putting them on the government rolls. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And so it's much like what President Obama said when he passed the Affordable Care Act. He said, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. But that didn't turn out to be true. And the fact is, if you're out there on private insurance, you might lose yours if my opponent's proposal goes into effect.
All right, Governor, thank you. Now we go to the Commissioner for his comment.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks to WAPT for hosting us tonight. I'm glad we could be on a debate stage. You know, I challenged Tate to 5 debates. He chickened out of 4 of them. Glad he would show up finally tonight. When it comes to Medicaid expansion, look, the results are clear. 230,000 working Mississippians tonight. These are folks who are sacking groceries, folks who are out roofing houses, people who are working in hotels tonight, scrubbing toilets and changing sheets on beds, people that take jobs that Tate Reeves would never take, that are working every day, that deserve health care. 40 states in this country have expanded Medicaid, including states like Oklahoma, where Donald Trump carried every county in the state of Oklahoma. So this is not about politics, this is about people. We have lost $1 billion a year by not expanding Medicaid in Mississippi. It is an idea that's time has come, it's past time to do it. And as governor, I would take steps on day one to expand Medicaid, join 40 other states, take the $1 billion a year, save 34 rural hospitals, get insurance to 230,000 working Mississippians, and create 16,000 good health care jobs.
Okay, thank you. Governor, you have a chance to respond.
Well, I think the people of Mississippi know that my opponent, when he qualified to run for governor, he couldn't make it an entire hour without lying to the people of Mississippi. And on this debate stage, he couldn't make it 1 full minute without lying to the people of Mississippi. He doesn't have the authority to do anything on the first day in office, but like everything else he proposes, he simply is lying to the people of Mississippi.
Let me respond to that just a minute. I don't know if the governor doesn't know the authority of his job or not, but the governor can file for a Section 1115 waiver, and he has actually the Division of Medicaid is under the governor's office. We all know that if Tate Reeves wanted to expand Medicaid, it would have already been expanded. The truth of the matter is, Tate, there's a majority in the House and Senate of Democrats and Republicans right now that want to expand Medicaid, and you're standing in the way of 230,000 working people that have jobs that you're too good to do yourself that would be able to benefit if, in fact, we expanded Medicaid. Its time has come.